Hi Jimmy, I want to share with you my version of extreme bowling. Now, this is just a typical bowling ball from Brunswick Lanes. No doctoring, nothing's been tampered with. And I've been having a real craving to dive and throw this ball right into the deep end of the swimming pool. Hi, Jimmy, I'm Penney Sconzo, and I've been teaching at the Westminster schools for 20 years now. I want you to know that in the summer times what I do is I travel. I've traveled for a number of different companies and groups where I have been working with teachers, doing demonstrations and presentations, so I'm used to working a crowd. I've done presentations at local, state, and national levels. And I want to follow up with the pool experience. And I've got a couple of helpers here. Come on over. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask them to select something to put into our swimming pool right here. And the question is it going to sink or is it going to float? Well, I want you to commit one way or the other. So when I ask you, what's it going to do? What they're going to do is they're going to, let's practice, we're going to touch our nose if we think it's going to sink, and we're going to touch our ear if we think it's going to float. So, you get the first object right out of the towel, pick whatever you want. And now what we're going to do is, will it sink or will it float? What have we got here? Hold it up right here above the tank. Every one of you should be wagering your bets right now. Put some money on it. We've got a peach. All right? We have to decide, is it going to sink or float? You touch when I say go. Touch it now. Go. All right. Both people think they're going to sink. Let's put the peach right in the front here, okay? So that we can see it go down. You don't have to drop it. Just let it go. And the peach floats. Wrong. Next. Let's get another object, okay? All right. Okay, now, this is a tough one right here. We've got a banana, sink or float. Make your commitment right now because I can't have you changing your mind. Let's do it. Sink or float. Go. Oh, a split vote here. Now, this is going to be interesting. Who's going to win? Let's see. Drop it into the water. It's a floater. An extensive property depends on the amount that you have present. While an intensive property, look at the word, IN, intensive. It is independent of the amount or the size of your sample. The size doesn't matter. It can be as big as watermelon and still be a floater. What we're looking at is the difference between mass and extensive property and density. Which one is more dense? This is a great one that you would enjoy. I'm going to do a series real quickly. Here's a bottle of oil, cooking oil. Pretty heavy. Ask anybody. It's got a large mass, but what happens when oil tankers spill their oil onto the ocean? It sinks. No, it floats. The oil covers the surface of the ocean. And so this is a really good example of how densities make a difference in whether something sinks or floats. Now, being a Georgia girl, I just had to do this one. And coming from Atlanta, here we've got it. Well, let's take a Diet Coke. Sink or float, audience. Sink or float. Make your call. Goes down, comes up. The Diet Coke floats. And now, here we have a caffeine-free regular Coke. Sink or float? A little bit slower to rise, maybe because of the high sugar amounts in it, but it's still floating. And here, a Pepsi. Not just a Pepsi, but a mini Pepsi. What do you think is going to happen when I put it into the water? Think it'll just fly right out of there? Let's give it a try. The Pepsi stays at the very bottom. Kind of interesting. Coca-Cola should pay me for this one. Well, one last thing. To end with, if you're talking about density, it's going to be mass per unit volume. And you saw the bowling balls down in the pool. This is the bowling ball that we actually took and put into the pool. And, you know, these bowling balls are the same dimensions. Think about it. If the mechanism for picking up that ball and returning it to the bowler after it's gone down the lane is going to function, the balls have to be of a pretty consistent size. The difference, this is a 7 or 8 pound ball, something a child might use. And you saw that the red bowling ball, even in the pool, would float. Low density. It's got the same volume but less mass because it's only about 7 to 8 pounds. And then here, my ball. Not that it's that much heavier, but it's 13 pounds. And when we take a 13-pound bowling ball and put it into the water, it's going to sink. At least down till it hits the cokes. Well, I chose this demonstration for a reason. You know, I think that you can be flashy, you can do flames, you can do colors, you can do noise, but the science that is all around us is sometimes the best science and what people really can relate to. So because of that, I chose a density experiment for us to share. I hope you'll read my resume and consider me as a possibility for being on your show. And thanks for the time and the consideration you're going to be giving it.